Welcome back to the Underage Packers podcast. I am Joey, welcoming you to episode number 74. We are so close to the regular season. This is the final episode of the preseason, of the offseason. We are almost there. Big B is back with me again. He's been with me all offseason, recapping the draft for our second season of Underage Packers. Big B, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. We are back.
Yes, I love you rocking the new 50s gear. I mean, comfortable. Like, what how you feeling in the fit?
It feels clean.
Feels clean. Feels slick. It looks like a poncho / a button up. Like, I really dig it. I love the GB. Hopefully that doesn't wear off too quickly. But I like the year. You got the training camp hat on as well. So like nice fit for today's episode. All right. Let's do this. So episode 74, recapping the preseason, ended it off talking about the roster that will be finalized this upcoming Tuesday, August 31st. Let's first talk about this preseason. So the Packers go winless. They do not win any of the 3 games. How tragic. Nobody cares that they lost besides your aunt on Facebook. They escaped with no major injuries. Obviously, they had a few like Chris Blair, DeAndre Tompkins, some other Will Redmond, Devin Funches. But other than that, no starters, nobody that was really projected to make the 53-man roster, in my opinion, got injured. So that's the best thing. And I really thought this team, these young guys on the team, got a lot of valuable time out there on the field. Let's talk about the guy, the man of the preseason, the guy we have been waiting for a long time to watch since April of 2020, and that is Jordan Love. In 4.5 quarters of this preseason, he went 24 out of 35 for 271 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception to match that, and an 89.1 passer rating. So fair game. Those stats, I would say, give you the same impression from his play. He showed me a lot of things that I wasn't expecting to see, a lot of things that you would expect to see out of a second-year quarterback who had very little offseason time last year. Big B, what did you think of Jordan Love's preseason performance?
I thought he did great for his first action in the NFL. Didn't make a lot of dumb throws, which I was.
There was some.
There was some, but not as many as I thought. So that really made me happy. And I'm excited for our future now.
Yeah. We didn't have a reference point of last year. And I tweeted that out yesterday that it kind of makes it more difficult to evaluate. We didn't get to see a rookie version of Jordan Love. The only tape we had to compare to was his senior year at Utah State. So we'll see next year. Next year, we might not have this evaluation period that we're lucky to have right now to see what he looks like before he has to go out there as a starter. But a lot of ball game left. I really like what I saw from Jordan. And yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully he doesn't get any opportunities for the rest of the season unless we are up by 50 points. All right, that's Jordan Love talk. Let's talk about some rookies now. 2021 draft class. A lot of good from the 2021 Packers draft class during this preseason, during this camp. Let's start off with cornerback Eric Stokes, pick 29 from Georgia. Big B, we didn't get to see too much of Eric, but what did you think overall? I think he was inactive against the Bills yesterday. But what did you think of Eric Stokes in his first 2 preseason games?
I mean, he looked like a rookie cornerback. I mean, that's pretty. You're gonna assume that was how he was going to look.
Yeah,
he did have that one nice pass breakup versus the Jets. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, but yeah, I thought he just looked like a rookie cornerback.
Yeah, all throughout this in the pre-draft process, we were saying, they really need a cornerback. However, rookie cornerbacks specifically take a lot longer to get the hang of things. In the NFL, there's a much bigger jump for quarterback corners from NCAA to the NFL game. We saw that with a lot of rookie cornerbacks last year, and that's a trend you can see pretty much with a lot of rookie cornerbacks. And then that second year, they really get to take things to a next level. And that's kind of why I see Kevin Keene, to many fans' chagrin, uh, taking going out there and starting for at least the start of the season. Jared Alexander, former first round draft pick in his rookie year, he was very good. Obviously, not where he is now or even in his second year, but he even did not get too many opportunities at the very start of the year. But I like what I saw from Stokes. Like you said, he made some mistakes. He bounced back from some of them. But overall, we really didn't get to see him too terribly much. Next up is center Josh Myers. Looks like he's going to be among the starting offensive line at the very start of the season. I am so excited for this kid. Getting to start on one of the greatest offensive lines in the league, was definitely one of the top 3, top 5 offensive lines last year, and then getting to slide in and replace in Corey Linsley's steps. He's got some big shoes to fill, replacing Corey Linsley now with the Chargers. But Big B, it's kind of hard from watching TV film to see what a center offensive lineman can do. But how confident are you in Josh Myers, second round pick, going out there and starting at center for the Packers?
Well, I've been on the Josh Myers wagon since he's been drafted, so I have full confidence in Josh Myers. I absolutely love him so much.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like he's really ready. No challenges, no obstacles to overcome, really. He's a big guy. Obviously, there's be some stuff we'll have to learn with Adam Stinovich, great offensive line coach. Hopefully, he will be ready, and there won't be too many rookie challenges to overcome. Moving on to the third round, Amari Rogers, and obviously, this pick you kind of have to look at it from a different perspective, in a good and bad way. Now with Randall Cobb now back on the Packers, I still cannot believe that happened. We are like probably exactly a month since the Packers trade for Texans wide receiver Randall Cobb was finalized. I cannot believe Aaron Rodgers was on a phone call with Brian Gutekunst with his agent and said, "I am not going back to the Packers unless you trade for what 30-something-year-old Randall Cobb." Like that is
So
bewildering,
bizarre.
so
So
bizarre.
bizarre.
Like
Like,
what is the 2021 Green Bay Packers? I do not know. What was this offseason? I'm not sure, but Randall Cobb is on the Packers, so just gonna go along with that, I guess. But Amari Rogers. Now, obviously, there was a lot of talk when he was drafted. Amari Rogers this past year in the third round from Clemson about his relationship with, at the time, former Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb. Basically, Amari's dad was Randall's wide receiver coach at Kentucky. So, and they were well acquainted with each other. I love that Amari Rogers was 13 when he knew Randall Cobb, and now they're on the same offense in the NFL. Kind of crazy, kind of wild. Um, he's obviously going to be a big mentor to him, and not only that, that they know each other, they have that previous relationship. They play the exact same role in Matt LaFleur's offense. It's going to be very exciting. Amari Rogers, I really like what I saw from him at our 2 camp practices, making some really acrobatic catches. Yeah, obviously he's a shorter dude, but he really he's thick. Can be used a lot in the backfield. As far as special teams goes, he did have that one botched punt return in the first preseason game, and I don't think we saw too much of him on special teams after that. But Big B, any thoughts on the Swiss Army knife and Wide receiver Amari Rogers?
never do that again. Yeah, I don't know. I had a couple catches, but nothing that I can put my analyst brain towards.
Yeah, nothing too notable in the
Yeah.
preseason for Amari, but we'll see um, how much involvement he gets early on in this offense. All right.
Oh, wait. He did
Oh,
have an end around. I do remember he did have an end around play, which was pretty cool.
oh, did it? It didn't go that far if I'm remembering correctly, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, but that's besides the point. I'm really excited for him. Royce Newman, big offensive lineman, second offensive lineman the Packers took in this year's draft. I love him. Big B, a lot of talk, especially the second preseason game. He really looked like he had turned the switch on, the light bulb went off for Royce Newman from Ole Miss. What do you project for him in this upcoming season?
To be honest, I think he's gonna start to begin the season. I don't know about when David Bakhtiari comes back. I don't know how all that's gonna play out and stuff, but he's definitely gonna be the starter to become the season, and he's looked really good too.
Yeah, uh, really big guy as well at offensive guard. Really excited to see. I mean, early on in camp, we were looking at probably Lucas Patrick, Ben Braden was getting a lot of looks, John Runyon. I don't think we even ever considered Royce Newman being in that field, even as fourth rounder. But after these past two preseason games, some good practices, it does look like um, he might be getting that starter nod at right guard to start the season, next to most likely Billy Turner at right tackle. Next up, try to get through these last few a little quicker here. We got cornerback Shamar Jean Charles or Shamar John. My apologies. But he's a really physical corner. Showed a lot of fine stuff. Obviously, it's going to be a backup to start off the year. Really like what he could do tackling some guys. So excited for him. Next up, we have TJ Sladen, also in the fifth round, just few picks after him. I absolutely love him. Obviously, you got to love TJ Sladen bringing some big, a lot of pounds to that defensive line alongside Kenny Clark and Dean Lowry. Big B, any thoughts on TJ or Shamar? John?
Um, I hate you. TJ is a big boy, and he's gonna be very good in the run game. I
Oh, yeah.
think. Dude's a monster. I'm so excited to see what he does during the season next to Kenny Clark. It's gonna be so much fun.
I really, I don't know if I can take this for my heart. It might be unhealthy, but I really want the 2012 type style opening game against the Saints. Like let's get a Randall Cobb kickoff return, or maybe Amari Rodgers passing the torch, and let's have TJ Sladen make a goal line stop. Like I am all in for that one right there.
Let's do
Um,
it.
let's do it. Next up, six rounders. We got Isaiah McDuffie, Cole Van Lannon. Cole Van Lannon, we don't really need to talk about another depth piece on the offensive line. We'll see if he makes the roster. Isaiah McDuffie, though, I was kind of on the border, on the fence with him making the roster. But after his game in his hometown of Buffalo on this past Saturday, I think there's a shot that he makes the roster as an inside linebacker and a special teamer. So that will be exciting to see. And finally, I have to get Kylan Hill deserves his own special talking point. But what did you think of Isaiah McDuffie yesterday from Boston College?
The dude's a tackling machine. But then again, we said this about Ty Summers, and we see
Oof,
how that went.
oof.
So I'm just gonna sit back and hopefully it not does not go the Ty Summers route. But I love what I saw from Isaiah McDuffie.
You bring up a good point. I feel like there's been a lot of inside linebackers that are easy to get hyped about in the preseason.
There's like that one game every
Yep.
preseason for one inside linebacker that has like 10 tackles. Everybody gets hyped about him and it doesn't do anything else
Yeah.
except be a special teams player
Yeah.
every single year.
I do specifically remember that from Isaiah's or Ty's rookie year.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Watch. We'll sit back and watch play out. And finally, I will the Kylan Hill, seventh rounder from Mississippi State. Dude is an animal, absolute beast. I am so excited to have him behind Thunder and Lightning, AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. If they're the Thunder and Lightning, Kylan Hill is the rain, the sleep behind them with the big stars in front. Like, cannot wait for this guy. Hopefully, he gets involvement pretty early on in the season or any at all at some point in this offense, either in the receiving game. I mean, on that screenplay, that was quite the moves from him. Uh, getting around quite a few guys on both of his touchdowns, man. They were pretty much identical, except one was a pass play, a screen, but goes to the right side, swerves in and out, and dives into the end zone. I love it from Kylan. Um, Obviously, a lot of good and very little bad from Kylan Hill's first 2 preseason games. Big B, any thoughts?
Like, how this dude fall to the 7th round is my question. I feel like every time he touches the ball, something good happens, and I kind of want him to start, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be a while until that happens. Like, he's that good.
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine him running behind David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, who was ever the starting right guard, and Billy Turner. Like after watching these guys for 3 weeks, I cannot wait to see the starters, man. Like that gets you really excited to see Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Devontae Adams here and now.
Can't wait.
Now it is time to crown the Jake Kumro Preseason Hero Award for the 2021 preseason. Big B, who is your winner this year?
All right, the winner is Malik Taylor. All right, Malik Taylor has had a way better camp than Jay Kumaro ever wanted to have. Like, he has been good in every
Quietly
single.
having a good camp, I would say. Quietly.
Oh, yeah, I'd say quietly. He had a quietly first good game versus who did we even face?
Houston.
I don't know. Whoever faced week 1. Houston. He had a good game then. Jets, he was phenomenal, just catching everything. Like, he's an all-around good wide receiver, and I cannot wait to see him with throwing or him catching the ball from Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be great if he gets some playing time.
Yeah, I really like this past week after the Jets game where he had those 2 great catches from the GOAT Kurt Benkert. Like, GOAT without the second GOAT, Kurt Benkert. But after that second game, Devin Funches is injured, EQ is injured, Juwan Winfrey is injured. It really looked like a landslide for Malik Taylor to make the roster, and it does look like that at this point. And he was really kind of an underrated candidate in that wide receiver 6 battle because of his special teams ability that I don't think it's talked about so much. I feel like it's an oversaturated part about this roster construction period, and I absolutely hate it. But I really, he adds quite a bit of value as a returner, gunner. So Malik Taylor hopefully gets some opportunities as a wide receiver too as well. I mean, if you remember the Week 4 game against Atlanta in 2020, where Devontae Adams was hurt and Alan Lazard was hurt, so we were running out there with Malik Taylor, EQ St. Brown. MVS might have been hurt. I can't remember correctly, but we were very bare at that wide receiver room. Malik Taylor had a few good catches, so we'll see the opportunities he gets as wide receiver 6 for this upcoming season. That's what it looks like.
Malik Taylor pulled out his inner Jordy Nelson on some of them sideline catches. Like, I thought Jordy Nelson was out there. He was that. It was that good.
Right, change the number, like change the dial on the number 1 up.
Might be overreacting here, but it looked like Jordy
we
Nelson.
are not calling Malik Taylor Jordy Nelson. All right, put that out.
Yeah, we are, but we aren't calling him.
Yeah,
Jordy
exactly.
Nelson.
My Jake Kumro award goes to Jack Heflin. We talked a little bit about him. Big boy, lunch pail guy on the defense line. Should help out a lot in the defensive line run stopping game. Tyler Lancaster, I still think has a spot on this roster just for depth. They don't have too many defensive linemen, but Jack Heflin really did a good job this preseason. All right, let's talk here about. We have some headlines to talk about. We won't spend too much time on them because you probably already heard plenty of thoughts on some news stories this past week. But Kamal Martin, former fifth round pick, was released. Kadar Holman, former sixth round draft pick, traded to the Houston Texans for a seventh round draft pick. And Devin Funches, he had an injury um, that he suffered during a week of practice after the Texans game. They originally put him on IR and then they released him with an injury settlement. So it was already, he still had a lot of ground to prove, more than a lot of people thought, uh, to get a spot on that roster. So they release him. And now we'll have to see what the future looks like for Devin Funches, who these past 3 years, the forces of nature have not treated him too well, and decisions that he didn't know would impact him that much. 2019, being out for the whole year with an injury after signing with the Colts, comes to the Packers, opts out of the 2020 season due to COVID, and in 2021, season-ending injury. So 3 years now for Devin Funches. He said on Twitter that he didn't expect to be placed on IR. I think the Packers kind of wanted to avoid him, find an easy way to get out of him. So he's injured now. I'm sure we'll see if he gets any offers by another team. I think he put some slightly impressive stuff on film, some really nice stuff on film against the Texans. So we'll have to see though if another team gives him a chance. Not that I care though. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I really like Kadar Holman getting something out of a player that you're probably going to cut. Kamal Martin was surprising. Um, I did say in my roster prediction video though that I wouldn't be completely surprised if he gets cut. I don't know exactly if he would have been eligible for the practice squad, but he did end up getting cut. I was kind of surprised to see it though. Um, yeah, at the 80-man cut down. Like, there's really, why not keep him until you have to cut down the 53? That was kind of surprising to me though. But
Yeah.
he did pass waivers, so obviously no team was really eyeing him up. Um, but anything you want to add to those three moves?
No, I'm just really shocked that Kamal got cut, like you said, at the 80-man cut down
Yeah,
instead of this upcoming 53-man cut down. And just, I don't know. I just don't know what happened with Kamal. I'm just still kind of shocked over that. And I had such high hopes after him having such a good camp
yeah,
last year.
yeah. I mean, he suffered with injuries all throughout his short-lived time with the Packers. Had some injuries with his time in Minnesota with the college team, not the Vikings. Um,
Yeah.
and there was obvious those that was a huge concern when he was drafted, and there were also off-field concerns. So being drafted in the fifth round, the Packers kind of looking at it as a low risk, high reward type pick. They didn't end up getting that high investment though, high
Yeah.
reward. So that's that. Now let's get to some exciting stuff. The Packers revealed their alternate jerseys after quite a few months of waiting, getting excited for them. Um, I wasn't expecting. I guess I kind of was. I was really the only option. They said Mark Murphy said there was going to be a shade of green, and if you look back at their prior jerseys, uh, this was really the only one with a shade of green before the classic green jersey, yellow pants that are really have been modified over time since 1960. But I really like these. Like, they do kind of look like high school or college, but I really like them. I think they do a pretty good job at making the jerseys that they wore 70 years ago more modern. Um, really like the clothing line they put out with that. Love the attire you got on today. But Big B, what were your initial thoughts of the new Packers throwback jerseys?
I thought, or I should say, I think that they are very nice. Like you said, they really bring out, they look really, it's weird. Okay, like,
Modernized?
Modernize. That's it. I'm out of words. I need to go back to school here soon. Um, they really modernized the jerseys. They look super nice. I love the really dark shaded green instead of the
Oh
very
yeah,
very bright green garbage that's on the actual jerseys.
yeah.
And hopefully soon I can get a Bobby Dillon customized jersey because
Oh,
that'd be dope.
that would be sick. Why did the Packers have to suck when they wore those jerseys though? Like
That's
Bobby
such a good.
Dillon is Bobby Dillon is a nice idea, but like if they had another legend, like if they had another absolutely iconic Hall of Famer legend when they wore those jerseys, it would be sick. Like imagine getting a Paul Hornung jersey of that. Like that'd still be sick, but it wouldn't make that much sense because he never wore it. But
I mean, Dave Hanner. If you,
Dave Hanner, I
yeah,
don't know if I need a Dave Hanner jersey, fortunately.
I
uh,
don't know about that, but that's the best, second best I could come up with.
yeah, I would love to get a custom one, but like I think they're on back order, and by the time you get it, it would be after they play the game where they wear them. It's like
Yeah.
that'd be pretty pointless. Um, but that's besides the points. That's the '50s classic jerseys. I like them. All right, I feel like this episode has gone on really long. I don't know how long we've been recording at this point, but let's get to the 53 man roster talk. And I put out a clip from a video on Twitter earlier this week where I was saying people get so caught up in this initial 53 man roster and they act like it's life or death. Like they act like if Juwan Winfrey doesn't make this roster, then his opportunity is completely lost, or that it's set in
Yep.
stone that Juwan Winfrey will never get a chance over Malik Taylor. And people often forget, especially, only at this time of the year, that there is so much roster movement, players in flux throughout the year, especially those bottom of the roster guys. If
Mm.
Cole Van Lannon makes a roster, he's still going to have to fight hard in practice any opportunity he gets to keep that spot on the roster. Um, so that's some point and reminder. Some people took it as that I felt I had come up with this crazy idea that I was the only one in the world that knew how the practice squad worked, which was not the point I was trying to get across, but more just the fact don't get so caught up, so obsessed with this 53 man roster construction.
Yep.
All right, let's get it to it though. We got a few players that we want to hit on for the Packers make their cutdowns this 31st. So let's start off going position by position with the quarterbacks. The only one to really talk about here, obviously, Rodgers. I was pretty surprised with how well Rodgers did this camp, but I think he did well enough to get himself a roster spot.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, obviously, making the roster. And then you have Kurt Benkert. I really want Kurt Benkert to earn himself a spot. Unfortunately, though, I have a bad feeling, bad feeling that the Kurt Benkert era is coming to an end in Green Bay.
It has come to an end.
I think deep down in my stomach, I know that. I don't want it to, but I know there's no way they keep him. I know there's no way they're able to sneak him onto the practice squad. So even if, like, it's not just what he adds with his talent, but he's just such a character guy, such a great Twitch streamer. So we'll miss him here in Green Bay. Obviously, I wish him the best. I hope he gets to go to a team, Washington, maybe some other teams that are looking for a good backup, and he can eventually work his way up to a starting quarterback. And then we'll trade a first rounder for him next year so he can be the backup to Jordan Love.
Word.
It will just be a direct trade for Kurt Benkert, Aaron Rodgers. Like switch him over. That
I'd be
sounds
down.
sounds like fair compensation to me. Hopefully he goes to the Lions so we can do Aaron Rodgers for Jamal Williams and Kurt Benkert. Maybe Geronimo Allison included in that, or no, Tim Boyle and Romano. So you got Aaron Rodgers for recap here. Kurt Benkert signs with the Lions, and then next offseason, we trade Aaron Rodgers for Kurt Benkert, Geronimo Allison, Jamal Williams, and Tim Boyle, and that defensive lineman that I'm forgetting about.
Yes.
Like, boom. That sounds
Done it.
dream
That's
to
it.
me.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the golden plan. That's what Brian Gutekunst has been working out for the past 5 years, really.
Yep.
All right. I don't know what we're talking about.
We're talking about how we're getting Jamal Williams back. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. Kurt Benkert, yeah, he won't make the roster. Probably most likely. Hard to sneak him onto the practice squad. All right, let's move on to the offensive line. Lucas Patrick. I think it's a really interesting one. The Packers have plenty of depth pieces. They've been trying to get a lot of people, a lot of faces into the offensive guard position. Cole Van Lannon, Royce Newman, Ben Braden. It looks like they're trying to get a cheaper, younger replacement for Lucas Patrick at offensive line. Big B, do you think Lucas Patrick makes this roster?
Yes, I do. I think Lucas Patrick makes it just because of his versatility, that he can play literally anywhere, and of course center, because we have literally nobody behind Josh Myers.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big piece in him making the roster this year.
Yeah, I want to say, well, Cole Van Lannon and those other guys are cheaper, but Lucas Patrick is obviously better.
Yep.
While that cost, age comes into factor, Lucas Patrick is better. He's not TJ Lang, but he's not Byron Bell, that's so I'll certainly be looking interested to see what they end up doing with Lucas Patrick. Wide receiver 6, I think we collectively agree on, not just us, but everybody on Twitter, everybody that pays attention agrees that Malik Taylor will be wide receiver number 6. Dominique Daphne at tight end, there's obviously an interesting situation with Jay Sternberger being suspended for the first 2 weeks, not counting as a spot on the 53-man roster. I just cannot see the Packers only having 3 tight ends for those first 2 weeks. And I think Dominique Daphne does a lot of stuff better than Jace. Really good blocker. So Jay Sternberger might be suspended, and then the Packers might say, well, sorry.
So are you saying that the Packers are going to keep Bronson Confusi or whatever you say his name is?
No. No.
You're not saying that. No.
I'm saying Dominic Daphne is replacing Jace. Yeah.
No, but you said that I don't see him keeping just 3 during.
Yeah, I'm saying. Well,
so
Josiah.
You gotta explain yourself.
Josiah counts as the tight end.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah, Bronson Confusi, Daniel Crawford. Crawford is released, but yeah, no, it's Dom Daphne, not Confusi. All right, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Outside linebacker 4 and 5. Obviously, they're going to keep somebody outside of Preston, Zedarius, and Rashawn. Last year, that was Jonathan Garvin, who wasn't active for a single game, I believe, besides very few when either Preston, Zedarius had injuries sporadically throughout the year. I'm a big Jonathan Garvin fan. I think he makes the roster. He's, I think the most evident thing you can take is, he was lining up with the ones when Zedarius was inactive, not at practice. So he's the outside linebacker number 3. So I think they like him. Also, a guy who has had a really good preseason is Delonte Scott. Also, Chauncey Rivers. Is Delonte Scott a defensive end?
I don't know. At this point, I just don't know.
That's a good question. I know with Chauncey Rivers, though, that had a pretty good game against the Bills yesterday. I would not be surprised to see them keep him as well. But really just numbers game, see how things shake out. Finally, Equanimous St. Brown talked a lot about wide receiver. He's been injured all this past year, or injured pretty much all of this offseason, injured all of 2019. He really hasn't had too many chances to work in Matt LaFleur's offense. And when he's had, it's shaky. I think this has to be the interim.
We had that one touchdown versus the Titans.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's literally the only thing I can remember from his career is that one.
The only thing you can't remember a 2-point conversion
2-point conversion
that he dropped at Lambeau Field in January.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that now.
That they shouldn't have gone for 2 on that play anyways, but we don't need to uncover pass wounds though. All right. Yes. I feel like we do that happens every single Packers chat though. Somehow the NFC Championship game failures come up.
Yeah, why'd you bring that up? Come on.
Hey man, we're talking about EQ and how he hasn't done much. I really
at least that 49ers game on Monday night a couple years ago. There's a couple nice grabs on the sideline.
His rookie year he looked better than EQ. Jamon Moore looked better than EQ and MVS, but 2018 wide receiver draft class, man.
Oh Lord,
what an episode! What an episode! This is really I don't know what's going on. What an episode! EQ though, gotta love him. All right, starting offensive line projections, we have one. Then we'll have one more thing to talk about, and that will wrap it up for preseason. Well, let's just hear it without David Bakhtiari, and then once David Bakhtiari comes back, eventually starting offensive line projection for you, Big B.
All right, we'll go Elton Jenkins, Lucas Patrick, Josh Myers, Royce Newman, Billy Turner.
I'm keeping the exact same one. Except I'm having John Runyon at left guard.
Okay.
For once David Bakhtiari comes back, I think this offensive lineman is going to be a pretty well-versed. Like, obviously, that whole left side of the line, just like last year, should be pretty strong. David Bakhtiari at left tackle, Elton Jenkins shifting back over to left guard, center Josh Myers, right guard, maybe Royce Newman if he shows enough those first few weeks, or maybe they like John Runyon better once that time comes. And then right tackle, once again, see what Billy Turner presents, and then you always have Dennis Kelly as well as an option there at right tackle.
Man, no love for Lucas Patrick over
no
on your
love,
side.
No love at all.
Wow, rude.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like last year, things change quickly. I mean, Lane Taylor is out for the season. That presents plenty of opportunities throughout the season for Lucas Patrick and John Runyon. So a lot of things can change really quickly, specifically along the offensive line. All right, one final thing. I'm so excited to finally be talking about week 1. If you live under a rock, haven't been paying attention, Hurricane Ida currently going over New Orleans, which 2005 Saints Hurricane Katrina affected the Saints football team quite a bit. Obviously, the number one priority is people being safe. We care about more than the football game. But obviously, hopefully people are safe. But there could be an impact 2 weeks from now when the Packers have to travel down to play the Saints. I think they hopefully learned some lessons from last time on the Superdome. Hopefully that's more protected. However, the whole city could be in a lot of disarray even in 2 weeks now. So we'll have to see if anything changes up with that week 1 game. If anything, they obviously wouldn't play it at Lambeau Field. But the Saints are practicing right now in Dallas with the Cowboys facilities. So we'll have to see day-to-day type thing, see how destructive the hurricane ends up being. And then a lot of ball game left on how it might affect Packers week 1 game against the Saints. Well, that was quite a doozy of an episode. I feel like that could have either been 30 minutes or an hour long. Any final words, Big B?
Go Pack Go.
Oh wow. I tell you thought long and hard about that one.
I did.
I love it. No better choice though. Couldn't be better though. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias. If you stuck through and listened to this whole episode, applaud to you. Applause to you. Thank you so much. That's all we got for you today. We'll see you later. Week 1 content firing on all cylinders sometime very soon. I'm so excited to be actually previewing opponents. Me and Big B will probably be talking about the final or the initial 53-man roster sometime in the middle of this week. Thanks for all the support. We'll see you later. As always, go Pack Go.